Hi everybody. Welcome to the Engineering 301 lessons. In this series, we will touch on more specific engineering area, in a little more detail compared to the 101 and 201 series. As this is about specialized engineering, you may encounter several technical terms. For the relevant and important one, these terms will be highlighted in the presentation to assist your understanding. Let us start to discuss on this specialized engineering topic, the waterproofing of basement wall. Basement waterproofing is always a headache for developers. When the waterproofing is not done well, the water leaking issue will become almost a permanent problem throughout the life of the building. Constant repair may be required to keep the basement to its desired function. While in this topic we focus on basement wall, we will touch on a little on the basement slab waterproofing as well. Since the water leak issue is always related to the entire basement system, in the Engineering 101 series we use this as an illustration of structure elements, and today, our focus is on the substructure of the system. And remember, we do talk about the resemblance of building structure to human skeleton, where the clothing form the facade of the building, the skin, will thus resemble the waterproofing system for basement structure. As different types of basement construction will require different type of waterproofing system, we have to discuss a little on the construction of the basement. The picture at the left-hand side is a site with very tight construction space, where some part of the basement wall is already touching the boundary of the land parcels. This is not uncommon in an urban setup or a densely developed district. Land is precious and building need to go high-rise. High-rise building will need to have basement to serve their needs. The basement will house facilities and plant room, use for car parking, etc., and all these post constrained in building design and construction challenges. For tight and constrained land parcel, the basement construction always resolved into using bore pile wall, diaphragm wall, etc. to double up as both retaining structure and basement wall. Picture in the right hand side is a bit lucky. The construction take place in a land parcel where there are sufficient space to introduce open cut for the construction of basement walls. This will make their waterproofing a little easier as compared to the left-hand side, as the external tanking method is now a choice for them. We will illustrate this in more detail in the next two slides. This is a completed basement wall done by secant bore piled and a diaphragm wall. By looking at this pictures one can tell the best method to carry out waterproofing to these two systems is to do it internally, as it is difficult if not impossible to carry out external tanking waterproofing system for such basement. The picture shows here is also a nicely done basement wall with high quality, in most actual work site, especially when deeper basement and larger structural elements are involved. Unevenness or misalignment of bore piled wall is not uncommon, which adds on the difficulties to internal waterproofing. We will discuss this in later slides. Different from the site with constraint, this lucky site can perform an open cut, and the completed basement wall is exposed as per the picture shown in the right hand side. With such exposed external wall and amber working space behind it, one can clearly see the introduction of external tanking seems to be the best choice for such basement wall. Of course, as a double protection, this particular retaining wall can also be cast using waterproofing concrete, to which we term as integral waterproofing system, and act as a second barrier after the external tanking. Here is the summary before we conclude the introduction of basement construction and the choice of waterproofing method due to this construction method. From the picture shown in the left-hand side, an open-cut construction of basement retaining wall. That leaves sufficient space behind the wall for the introduction of external tanking. For this case, a self-adhesive waterproofing system is installed. And they have extra choice of introduced a double protection system, by casting the wall using waterproofing concrete. For the other two, which site constraint is an issue and diaphragm wall and bore piled wall is used, the subsequent waterproofing system will have to be introduced internally. In the next section, let's discuss the design of the various type of waterproofing system to suit the various type basement system, as well as the usage of the basement.